Disgraced former Rep. Farenthold of Texas still has friends to catch him when he falls. On Friday's episode of HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher, Rep. Duncan Hunter, R-Calif, offered a ridiculous rationale for why Congress spends so much more on certain U.S. military programs than the Pentagon actually requests it to spend. Despite our best efforts, every year 480,000 Americans continue to die from smoking. And, for the majority of our citizens, including healthcare professionals and policymakers, the solution to this problem is singular: tell people to quit smoking. President Trump's policies in the Middle East are separating out who stands for what and with whom in that tumultuous region. A question posed last week at Times Higher Education, a data company that analyzes university trends and reported on recent government statistics that show the gender gap on college campuses has widened, asks, should we be worried that women outnumber men on college campus? If White House aide Kelly Sadler told the McCain family she would publicly apologize for the joke she told last week about Sen. John McCain, RIs, she should make good on her promise. Both because it's the right thing to do, and because it would accelerate this sad story's departure from the news cycle. President Trump is moving the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem only because he's trying to keep certain, wealthy donors happy, according to MSNBC guest and journalist Bobby Ghosh. Israeli forces reportedly killed 52 gays and protesters along the border fence amid violent protests. Palestinian Authority called the killings a terrible massacre, and the United Nations Human Rights Council called for the Israelis responsible to face justice. South Africa recalled its ambassador to Israel until the occupation of Gaza ends, seemingly unaware that happened 13 years ago. The state of New Jersey pushed the Supreme Court to deliver a big win for sports fans and states' rights. And win big it did. Following the official opening of the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem, a symbolic gesture in recognizing the Holy City as the capital of Israel, and reports indicating that the Trump administration is in the late phases of the Israeli-Palestinian peace plan, it's difficult to ignore when looking beyond Israel's immediate borders that matters are deteriorating. One time Mark Sanford gave his security detail the slip, flew out of the country unbeknownst to his own family, and met with a brunette Argentinian journalist who wasn't his wife. When the then South Carolina governor emerged a week later, that Republican told the press he'd been hiking the Appalachian Trail. Last week, writer Ben Howe, formerly of Red State, penned an op-ed for Daily Beast wherein he reprimanded conservative outlets for failing to engage in more original reporting and hoped more George Soros-like right-wing billionaires would sponsor original reporting from right-of-center publications. The piece did not go over well among right-of-center publications, and for good reason. Still, there's something to this debate over the media and its conservative counterpoints that's worth expanding on. Monday morning, the Supreme Court ruled decisively 6-3 in favor of New Jersey and Murphy v. National Collegiate Athletic Association, finding that the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act violated the 10th Amendment. The finding means states can legalize sports betting, if they so choose. Corey Lewandowski, a political commentator and advisor who helped President Trump win the Republican nomination, will join Vice President Mike Pence's team on the 2020 re-election trail. President Trump struck gold in 2016 when hit on the idea of running as a populist, tapping into a long-ignored sentiment shared by millions of voters. Dozens of Palestinians were killed on Monday, when Israeli soldiers fired on them as they attacked the Israeli border around Gaza. But while this loss of life is tragic, the Israeli Defense Forces had little choice but to use lethal force here.